Welcome to this answer explanation video for Equivalent Fractions 2. This video will talk through the answers to the Equivalent Fractions 2 worksheet and have a look at some of the tricky bits. Question 1. Fill in the missing divisors to show how the numerator and denominator have been changed. So again, we're applying that rule where whatever happens to the numerator also has to happen to the denominator. So if we start with A, we need to have a look at how we've gone from 2 to 1 and 12 to 6, and it should be the same both times to find equivalent fractions. So to get from 2 to 1, we have to divide by 2, and then that's the same to get from 12 to 6. So both numbers there, the missing numbers, are 2. B, we're going from 4 to 1 and 48 to 12. To do this, we need to divide by 4 both times, because I know that 12 times 4 is 48, so we can actually use the inverse to check that we get to that fraction that we started with. C, we'll go from 7 to 1 and then 56 to 8. So I know that 7 divided by 7 is 1 and 56 divided by 7 is 8. And then D, we'll go from 6 to 1 and 54 to 9. So I know that I can divide by 6 here and divide by 6 here. And just to check, I know that 9 times 6 is 54, so I can use the inverse to check. Question 2. Complete the equivalent fractions below. Use division to find each missing value. So we'll start with A, where our first fraction is 8/32. We then need to look at how we get from that first fraction to our next fraction along, and for this one, we're looking for the missing denominator. So to get from 8 to 4, I know that we've divided by 2. So we need to apply the same to the 32 here. And 32 divided by 2 is 16. So now we have 4/16. We can then have a look at the relationship between 16 and 8 to find our missing numerator. So from 16 to get to 8, 16 divided by 2 is 8. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then finally, we're getting all the way down to 1. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. So we've got down to a quarter at the end there. B, we have 12/84 here. So we need to work out how to get from our 12 to our 6. We need to divide by 2. So we could do the same to our 84 for our denominator, and there we would get 42. This time we're going from 6 to 2, so we're actually dividing by 3 this time. So we need to do the same with our 42. And 42 divided by 3 is 14. And finally, to get from our 2 to our 1, so looking at the numerator again, we need to divide by 2. So we do the same to the denominator, and 14 divided by 2 is 7. So we end with 1/7. C, we have 24/36. We need to think about how to get from 36 to 12. And I know that we can divide by 3. So we need to do the same to the numerator. 24 divided by 3 is 8. To get from 12 to 6, we divide by 2. So we do the same to our numerator. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And then this one is blank. So we need to work out what we can do next to simplify this fraction, so to reduce it even further. Because the numerator and the denominator are both even numbers, I know I can divide by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So our simplified fraction is 2/3. D, we have 54/72. To get from 54 to 27, I know that's half, so that's been divided by 2. So we need to do the same with 72. 72 divided by 2 is 36. To get from 36 to 12, we could divide by 3, which means we divide 27 by 3. 27 divided by 3 is 9. And again, this last one is completely blank, so we need to work out what we can divide both of these numbers by. I can't divide by 2 this time because 9 is an odd number, but I do know that they are both multiples of 3, so I could divide both by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3, 12 divided by 3 is 4, so we have 3 quarters. Question 3. Robert is identifying fractions that are equivalent to 10/60ths. He has shown his working out. What mistake has Robert made? Explain your answer. So we have Robert there, and he has his 2 lots of what he thinks are equivalent fractions. So the first one, he's got his 10/60ths. He's written down that he's dividing by 10, so he's dividing the numerator and the denominator by 10, so he's got that bit right. But then he has 20/70ths. So it looks like instead of dividing, he's actually added. If he actually divided the numerator and the denominator, he would get 10 divided by 10 is 1, 60 divided by 10 is 6. So he should have got 1/6. On the next model, he has 10/60ths again. This time he's dividing the numerator and the denominator by 5, so that's correct so far. But he has 5/55ths. So there it looks like he's actually subtracted 5 from the numerator and the denominator instead of dividing. If he were to divide by 5, he would have 10 divided by 5 is 2, and 60 divided by 5 is 12. So he should have 2/12ths. So the mistakes he's made is that he has added for the first model and subtracted for the second model. What he should have ended up with is 1/6 and 2/12ths. That was a video explaining the answers to the equivalent fractions 2 worksheet from Classroom Secrets. For a video tutorial on the same step, go to kids.classroomsecrets.co.uk, and for more worksheets, go to classroomsecrets.co.uk. Thank you for watching.